Some questions have haunted humanity for centuries. Despite our greatest minds, our most advanced technology, and our most determined investigators, these mysteries remain completely unsolved. Today we count down the top 10 mysteries that have never been solved, and number 1 has baffled the entire world for over 50 years. Stay with me. Welcome back to Late Sortie, where we launch into the world's most fascinating stories. Today we're diving deep into the unknown, 10 mysteries so baffling, so complex, and so enduring that despite everything we know, we still have absolutely no answers. Let's get into it. Coming in at number 10, the Voynich manuscript. Locked away in a vault at Yale University lies one of the most mysterious objects on Earth. This 600-year-old handwritten book is filled with strange illustrations of unknown plants, astronomical diagrams, and a text written in a completely unknown language or cipher that no one has ever been able to decode. Some of the world's greatest code breakers, including teams who cracked Nazi codes during World War II, have tried and failed to decipher it. Some researchers believe it is an elaborate medieval hoax. Others believe it contains genuine knowledge, perhaps medical, perhaps astronomical, encoded in a language that has simply never been found. To this day, nobody knows who wrote it, what it says, or why it was written. Number 9, the Dyatlov Pass incident. On the 1st of February 1959, 9 experienced Russian hikers set up camp on a snowy slope in the Ural Mountains. Sometime that night, something went catastrophically wrong. Their tent was found ripped open from the inside. Their footprints showed they had fled into the freezing night, some barefoot, some in socks, in temperatures of -30 degrees. When the bodies were found, the evidence made no sense at all. Some had suffered internal injuries so severe they could only be compared to a car crash, yet there were no external wounds. One victim was missing her tongue. The radiation levels on some of the bodies were inexplicably high. To this day, despite numerous official investigations, nobody has been able to explain what happened on that mountain that night. Number 8, the Mary Celeste. On the 4th of December 1872, a British-American ship called the Mary Celeste was found floating adrift in the Atlantic Ocean. The ship was completely seaworthy. The cargo was fully intact. There was 6 months' worth of food and water on board. The captain's personal belongings were untouched. Everything was perfectly in order, except for one thing. Every single person on board had vanished. The captain, his wife, their 2-year-old daughter, and 7 crew members, 10 people in total, had simply disappeared. A lifeboat was missing, suggesting they left in a hurry. But why would anyone abandon a perfectly seaworthy ship in the middle of the ocean? To this day, nobody knows. Number 7, the Ark of the Covenant. According to the Bible, the Ark of the Covenant was a sacred chest containing the original stone tablets on which God inscribed the 10 Commandments. For centuries it was kept in the Temple of Solomon in Jerusalem, one of the most sacred objects in the history of religion. Then in 587 BC, the Babylonian army under King Nebuchadnezzar conquered Jerusalem and destroyed the temple. And the Ark simply vanished. In the nearly 2,600 years since, it has never been found. Some believe it was carried to Babylon, others believe it was hidden before the city fell. The Ethiopian Orthodox Church openly claims to possess it today, stored in a church in Axum. But they have never allowed anyone to verify the claim. The most important religious artifact in history, and nobody knows where it is. Number 6, the Nazca Lines. Etched into the dry coastal plains of Peru approximately 2,000 years ago by the pre-Inca Nazca civilization are hundreds of enormous geoglyphs. Some are simple geometric shapes. Others are incredibly detailed depictions of animals, a spider, a hummingbird, a monkey, a whale, each one perfectly proportioned and stretching hundreds of meters across the desert floor. They can only be fully seen from the air. Yet the Nazca people had no aircraft, no hot air balloons, no technology that could have given them an aerial perspective. So how did they create images of such perfect proportion that they are only visible from the sky? What were they for? Were they messages to the gods? Landing strips for ancient aircraft? Astronomical calendars? Nobody knows. And over 1,000 of them have still never been fully explained. Number 5. Jack the Ripper. In the autumn of 1888, at least 5 women were brutally murdered in the Whitechapel district of London. The killer, who taunted police with letters signed Jack the Ripper, was never caught. Over the 135 years since, more than 500 suspects have been named. Dozens of books have been written. Countless investigations have been launched. Yet the true identity of Jack the Ripper remains one of the most debated and enduring mysteries in criminal history. The murders stopped as suddenly as they began, and the Ripper simply vanished. Whether he died, was imprisoned for another crime, or simply walked away, we will almost certainly never know. Number 4. The Lost Colony of Roanoke. In 1587, a group of 118 Englishmen, women, and children established a colony on Roanoke Island off the coast of present-day North Carolina, the first English settlement in the New World. Their governor, John White, sailed back to England for supplies. When he returned 3 years later, the entire colony had vanished. Every single person was gone. There were no signs of struggle. No bodies. No indication of what had happened. The only clues were 2 words carved into wood, CRO on a tree, and Croatoan on a fence post. Despite centuries of investigation, nobody has ever discovered what happened to the 118 men, women, and children of Roanoke. They simply ceased to exist. Number 3. Stonehenge. For over 5,000 years, this extraordinary ring of massive standing stones has dominated the landscape of Wiltshire in England. Some of the stones weigh up to 25 tons. Others were transported from Wales, over 200 miles away, by people who had no wheels, no cranes, and no metal tools. How they moved them remains one of the greatest engineering mysteries in human history. But the bigger question is, why? Why did Neolithic people invest extraordinary effort and resources to build this structure? Was it a religious site? An astronomical calendar? A place of healing? A monument to the dead? Archaeologists have debated these questions for centuries, and still have no definitive answer. Stonehenge stands today exactly as it has always stood, magnificent, silent, and completely mysterious. Number 2. A Malaysia Airlines flight MH370. On the 8th of March 2014, a Boeing 777 carrying 239 passengers and crew took off from Kuala Lumpur bound for Beijing. 40 minutes into the flight, it vanished. No distress call. No warning. No explanation. The plane simply disappeared from radar screens and was never seen again. In the years since, one of the largest and most expensive search operations in aviation history has found almost nothing. A few small pieces of debris have washed up on beaches thousands of miles away, consistent with the aircraft, but the main wreckage has never been found. The black boxes have never been recovered. And the reason why a modern passenger aircraft with 239 people on board simply ceased to exist remains completely unknown. A new deep-sea search began in December 2025, and as of today, MH370 has still not been found. And at number 1, D.B. Cooper. On the 24th of November 1971, the day before Thanksgiving in America, a man using the name Dan Cooper boarded a Northwest Orient flight from Portland to Seattle. He was calm, polite, and well-dressed. Midway through the flight, he handed a flight attendant a note claiming he had a bomb. He demanded $200,000 in cash and 4 parachutes. His demands were met, the plane landed, the passengers were released, and then, with the money and the parachutes, D.B. Cooper jumped out of the back of the aircraft somewhere over the wilderness of the Pacific Northwest, and was never seen again. Despite being the only unsolved case of air piracy in American aviation history, despite a 50-year FBI investigation, despite hundreds of suspects, nobody has ever discovered who D.B. Cooper really was, where he landed, or what happened to him. He remains the most wanted, and most mysterious, man in American history. And that is our top 10 mysteries that have never been solved. From ancient manuscripts to vanishing aircraft, our world is full of questions that may never have answers. Which one do you think will eventually be solved? And which one do you think will remain a mystery forever? Let us know in the comments below, we read every single one. And don't miss our next video. where we count down the top 10 mysteries that took forever but were finally solved. Hit subscribe so you don't miss it. This has been Late Sortie. The mission continues. To God be the glory.